Good evening, all you weather geeks. It's the Valley's most in-depth weather video, Weather for Weather Geeks. I'm your humble host, Eric. Welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend, a good Monday today. It felt like fall today. It was actually a pretty nice afternoon after a cloudy and damp start. Temperatures this afternoon warmed back up into the upper 50s. A rare blue box on the calendar. Our first one in October. This was the first cooler than average day since September 30th. We reeled off 15 in a row. Warmer than average days. And that means that, yes, we have had the warmest start through 16 days to the month of October on record. The warmest October on record overall, 1949, although 2007 not far behind that. And I think before all is said and done, we're probably going to be in the top 5 for warmest Octobers on record here in Youngstown. Whether or not we're in the top 2 or 3, or maybe even number 1, remains to be seen, but I think our odds are very high of at least cracking the top 5. A continuation of course, what has been a very warm year so far here in 2017. We are roughly halfway through meteorological autumn. The months of September, October, and November. Our average highs here on the 15th and 16th of October are 61. Tomorrow the average drops down to 60, and the average drops to 55 by Halloween. And as we head into meteorological winter in just a little over 6 weeks, hard to believe, our average highs will be in the lower 40s. So we've got a ways to go, but certainly the times are changing. All right, the foliage update. We get one of these from foliagenetwork.com every Monday and Thursday, and we're still in the moderate category here. I really think that the foliage is behind schedule and a little duller than usual. We can thank all the warm and dry weather we had during September and early October for that. Reaching peak colors are very near peak in the higher terrain across the Laurel Highlands and southwest PA, and then along the New York PA border and up into the Catskills and into the Adirondacks, peaking even past peak colors in some spots up there. Today is the 16th of October. We should probably reach our peak, I would think, in about 8 or 9 days, just a little bit behind schedule, or a handful of days behind schedule. All right, frost advisory is out for most places, with the exception of areas where the growing season has been declared over. That includes Lawrence and Mercer counties. That's why the frost advisory is not out for there. It's going to be even colder in those locales probably, but they stop issuing frost advisories for locations in which the growing season has been declared over. So frost advisory until about 10 in the morning for most spots tomorrow morning. It's going to be a cold night tonight. Perfect radiational cooling conditions tonight. Clear sky, calm winds, dry air, long night. The nights, of course, are getting longer, so we'll have no trouble getting down to maybe 33, 34 in the coldest nooks and crannies across the region. All right, big picture for your Tuesday. 61 tomorrow. Our forecast, just a degree above the average of 60. The records are 26 and 83. Closing in on exactly 11 hours of daylight. Now, if October ended today, of course it doesn't, but if it did end today, it would be the warmest October on record and the 31st driest October on record. I think next week will be stormier with more chances for rain. But over the next 6 days, not a drop. In fact, hardly a cloud in the sky right through the weekend. And look at the upward trend in our temperatures here. I've got us cracking 70 by the end of the week. And it's just going to be a beautiful autumn weekend. I mean, sunshine and temperatures warming into the mid-70s. A glorious mid-October, late October weekend coming up. But there are changes. We started talking about this on Weather for Weather Geeks last week. The longer range will feature a pattern change that's going to at least try to send us back to average. The ridge builds in at the end of this week. The west turns stormy and cold under the trough. Nice looking ridge in the east. So yeah, it's going to turn pretty warm compared to the average. But look what happens next week. A couple of things going on here. A ridge starting to build out west. A very active, very fast jet stream like this, and then you've got kind of a cutoff low down across the lower Mississippi Valley. That cutoff low, along with this emerging trough up here, will probably conspire to, cool us off, certainly, and I don't think it's going to be anything crazy below average, but we have a chance to be a little below average for daytime highs by the middle and latter portions of next week. By the middle of next week, our averages are down to 57. So it takes, a pretty significant air mass to keep daytime highs below that level. But I do think we'll get close. You're certainly going to notice the change, I think, by mid to late next week. Here's a look at the latest European long-range modeling broken down in 7-day chunks. Here's the 11 to 18-day outlook. This takes us through November 2nd, showing the cooler air making inroads across the southeast, parts of the Ohio Valley. And does it stick around? That's the question. And, I'm kind of of the mindset of the atmosphere has to prove it to me that it's capable of being cold for more than a day or two before I declare, oh, huge pattern change, going to get cold and stick around for a while. If you're a betting person, you would not take those odds just because we haven't seen it. The atmosphere has to prove it to me first. Cooler than average temperatures might stick around for a few days, mid to late next week. This pattern just sort of screams average to me. Not crazy cold, just average. Through maybe the first handful of days of November. The European then warms it back up as we go deeper into November. Now, the American modeling here also has the cool down coming. Here's the 10 to 15 day, the 13 to 18 day roughly. And this set of modeling is colder looking as we go into November. Notice the blues showing up with more frequency as we go deeper into November. Not sure which of these is right. But if I were to put some money on it, I would edge towards the warmer ideas simply because that's the way the atmosphere wants to be right now. And until the atmosphere proves otherwise, bet on the warmth and not the cool. Maybe we'll have a significant cool shot coming in November. But again, in the short term, big time warm up over the next 6 days. Thanks for checking out Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. I'll see you tomorrow on Weather for Weather Geeks and tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock.